So there is something called factoring, and factoring is what? It's a financial services. Now what the factor does is he'll have certain amount. Within short time, he'll pay the amount to anybody, whether it is a buyer or a seller. Things, who has taken what, everything. So the entire documents are here in the factoring. So if you really want to have factoring, you can actually go and take the factoring whenever your liabilities are more. Whenever you go with the advanced finance provided by the factor firm is generally available at a higher interest rate. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Business Studies in Vidyashram Pure College, the Temple of Excellence. Welcome to the next session of Source of Business Finance. In this session, we're going to learn about factoring and leasing finance. So the first topic is factoring. Let's know what exactly factoring is. Now in the factoring, you have a person called as factor. Now, what exactly a factor is? A factor is a third party. Now, he's the person who will be acting like a broker. And now, what exactly the factor does, we'll just check. Now, factoring is a financial service under which the factor, there is a person called factor, renders various services, which includes, now there are two types of services which the factor usually does. So, here if you understand, there is a person called factor. Okay, and he is who? He is a third party. What does he do? He'll actually go with few of the various services. I'll tell you, third party. He's called as a third party. Chalo. Now, first one, what exactly he does is he goes with discounting of bills. Now, you need to know what exactly discounting of bills are. In the first PUC, you have studied in accountancy what is discounting of bills. Now, with or without a recourse, they actually go for it. And the collection of the client, see, there is somebody who needs financial assistance. So for them, this factor is always there who will actually go with discounting of bills. Now, what happens is there is something called collection of the client's debts. Under this, the receivable, the person who is supposed to receive it, receivable on account of sale of goods or services are sold to the factor. Whatever is being you were supposed to receive, now you will not receive that particular time, you will receive it some other time. Before that only the factor is there who will go with discounting of bills. And what he does is are sold to the factor at a certain discount. Now before the payment only, the factor is there who will actually pay them. That is what the factor does. And while paying that, he'll not pay the full amount. He'll actually have kind of certain discounts for him. So supposingly it is say 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. Now the worth of the receivable on account of sale of goods or services are say 20,000. Now the factor is that the person is there who will actually give it for 18,000 rupees. Now after when the maturity will happen and the person who is supposed to pay 20,000, what happens is the factor will collect it. So 2,000 rupees is what his commission is. So this is what the factor does. So there is something called factoring, and factoring is what? It's a financial services. Now supposingly here, I'll just tell you here what really happened. There is a person here, say buyer and seller. And here we have a person called factor, and he's a third party. Now here what really happens is the buyer will go and buy something from the seller. But what happens is he'll take it in a credit kind of a thing, right? Now this person seller, he has actually given him the product, say goods or service, product or services is done. Okay. Now what happens is he needs that money right now, but he don't have money. So he'll actually contact the factor or whoever. The buyer can actually go and talk to the factor, or the seller can go and talk to the factor. Anybody can go and talk to the factor. Now what the factor does is he'll have certain amount. Within short time, he'll pay the amount to anybody, whether it is a buyer or a seller. But when it comes to the later stage, these two people, whoever have taken money from him, right? When the other person will return the money, so that amount will actually go to the factor. So immediately he will give you the cash. That is what the factor does. Now we have something called the one more services. What the factoring does is providing information about credit worthiness of prospective clients. See, this is actually a merit as well as a demerit, which you should actually understand. People who really want money, they'll come and they'll approach this person called factor. Now the factor has all detail about every firm's record, whoever have come and taken credit or loan from these people. Now what happens is they have list of things, who has taken what, everything. So the entire documents are here in the factor. That is the factoring. So factor hold large amount of information. See, the mightiest weapon in any of the financial services is information about the finance. And factoring, they have adequate amount of information about each and every firm. So what happens is, who is worth and who is not worth, that is what the factors will actually come to know, and that is how they'll also go with manipulation. Now factor hold large amount of information about the trading histories. So all the histories about the firm, that is trading history of the firms. This can be valuable to those who are using factoring services and can thereby avoid doing business with customers having poor payment record. Now here what happens is, whoever wants to go with the factoring thing, the other person will actually check whether the person is worth or he is not worth. So here what happens is, the information is transparent. That means these people can use this information and they can give it to anybody. So it's a demerit sometimes. Merit, how it is, because you will get to know which firm is actually having the money or they don't have the money, which firm is actually in a profit or a loss. You will also get to know. If they are coming for the next factoring also, you will get to know whether they have paid the other debts or not. That is how you will actually know that. So what are the merits of factoring? Understand. First of all, easily you will get money from the third person. The third person though he'll take more interest, but what happens is, you need money right now. So this is what the ultimate source of finance, where you can actually go and within no time you can get the money. Obtaining funds through factoring is cheaper than financing through other means such as bank credit. Now what happens is, when you go with the bank credit, okay, now the bank credit, if you start going with it, sometimes the bank credit is too much, you cannot afford for it. So those time you can actually go and consult the factoring thing and you will actually get the money very cheaper. Second thing is, with cash flow accelerated by factoring, the client is able to meet his or her liabilities promptly as and when these arises. So whenever you have any problem, if you have a proper cash flow accelerated by factoring, then you can actually cover your liabilities. So what it says is, with your convenience, if you really want to have factoring, you can actually go and take the factoring whenever your liabilities are more, so that your liabilities will get covered. That is what the advantages. Next is, factoring as a source of fund is flexible. See, this is what you are supposed to know, that is, which is a source of fund which is flexible. When it comes to the banking and all, you have so many documents, so many kind of things which you feel that it depends on the government regulation as well as the bank regulation. But here factoring, you can actually go with it. It is flexible than the other financial sources and ensures a definite pattern of cash inflow from credit sale. Even if you go with a credit sale, you will actually end with a cash flow, that is inflow, cash inflow. It provides security for, so there is something called factoring, and factoring is what? It's a financial services. Now what the factor does is, he'll have certain amount. Within short time, he'll pay the amount to anybody, whether it is a buyer or a seller. Things, who has taken what, everything. So the entire documents are here in the factor. So if you really want to have factoring, you can actually go and take the factoring whenever your liabilities are more charges on the assets of the firm. Next is the client can concentrate on other functional areas of business as the responsibility of credit control is shouldered by the factor. A person. Now factor is who? The third party. The third party is called as the factor. Is called as factor. Now you don't need to worry about it. Once you are doing this factoring, the factor is there who will give his shoulder and he'll control all the credit control, and that is how the business will also run smoothly and efficiently with effectiveness. So there are so many limitations also. See, the merits we got to know. Now we need to also see that what are the limitations of factoring. The first limitation is the source is expensive. See, when I say cheaper, and now I'm telling you expensive because there are so many other source of finance which are even cheaper than factoring. So that is why it is called what? It is expensive, which expensive when the invoice are numerous and smaller in amount. When you have small amount, what happens is it really becomes expensive. That's why you are supposed to go with a bulk kind of a thing. The advance finance provided by the factor firm is generally available at higher interest. Whenever you go with advance finance, please underline this. Whenever you go with the advance finance provided by the factor firm is generally available at a higher interest rate than the rate of the other interest. The usual rate of interest is that more than that it will be there only when it comes to advance finance. Next is the factor is a third party. As I told you, factor is always a third party to the customer who may not feel comfortable. See, whenever you start doing a business with a third party, what happens is when there is a buyer, say there is a seller, right? And there is a person called factoring. That factor is there. Now what happens is you don't feel like actually having a business with them. You will not feel comfortable. That is what, even that is true. So the other things which I'll be telling you about factoring in the next sessions, but here we'll go with one more topic that is called lease financing. Now what is this lease financing? Now try to understand lease financing in a nutshell. Usually what happens in lease financing is, the word lease itself is very common nowadays. You just go pay a rent and you take the assets and use assets. That is what the lease is all about. Here leasing is what? There are two people, lessor and a lessee. Now the lessor is the owner and the lessee is the person who has taken it. He'll come and he'll take the land or the assets for lease. It means he'll make a contract. It's an agreement kind of a thing. Then it will convert it to a contract where they'll actually have a agreement saying that for certain period of time we will take the lease of the asset, and after that we'll actually wind the business, and the place where it is belongs to the lessor will be to the lessor itself. So that means what? Lease is a contractual agreement wherein one party, that is the owner of an asset, grants the other party the right to use the asset in return for the periodic payment. So you have something called a periodic payment, so you will get it. In other words, it is the renting of an asset for such specified period. So let's take an example here. We'll take an example. There is this land 100 by 120 and there is this owner, and there is one person who really wants to take lease financing. Now what happens is the owner and the person who wants to take the lease, they both will come into a contractual agreement, and the owner of an asset, he grant, see again, land is also an asset, it's a fixed asset, right? So he will grant the other party, that other party is the person who really wants to buy it, the other party, for a periodic payment. Now the other party need to pay the owner the payment, that too periodically. In other words, it is a renting of an asset for some specified period. Now that specified period can differ can depend upon the owner and the person who has taken the contractual agreement. So what are the merits of these? First is it enables the lessee. I told you the person who wants to buy for a rental, for the rental, is called lessee, to acquire the asset with a lower investment. Even if he has a lower investment, he can actually acquire. He can't buy the whole plot, so he'll have nominal amount, so but still he can be the owner of that particular plot till the periodical cycle will be there. That is how it is. Simple documentation makes it easier to finance assets. It's not a complicated one. It's like simple documents. Whatever the regulations of leasing finance will happen, you are supposed to fulfill that. Next is lease rentals paid by the lessee are deductible for computing taxable profit. Whenever you go with the taxation, it will actually be deducted. So whatever the amount you are paying, whenever you want to pay the taxes, you can actually show this, that saying that I've taken a lease, I'm paying there also, so it can be deducted. So there are so many merits which are there. People usually use it. It provides finance without diluting the ownership or control of business. So whatever it is, the real owner is the owner of the plot. Next is the lease agreement does not affect the debt raising capacity of an enterprise. Whenever you go with any of the leases, it will not, the agreement does not affect. Next is the risk of obsolescence is borne by the lessor. This allows greater flexibility to the lessee to replace the asset. So here it's all the merit both for the party, that is the lessee, as well as the lessor. So let's check the limitations of lease financing. So a lease arrangement, right, may impose certain restrictions on the use of assets. See, it's not like whatever you want to do it. There are some restrictions. For example, it may not allow the lessee to make any alteration or modification of the asset. Now it depends on the agreement, on what basis you have done the agreement, right? Now the normal business operations may be affected in case of lease is not renewed. Now you need to always check that how much ever you have done the periodical contract, you are supposed to always renew, or else what happens is there will be an effect on the business. Supposingly 5 years you have done a contractual agreement. After 5 years, if you feel that okay, I can actually later I can renew it, and then you will keep quiet, and the owner, he is not ready with the renewal of the contract, now what happens is the business will suffer. So that is why you are supposed to have a renewed one very fast, as soon as possible, or you need to go with a long-term plan. Next is it may result in higher payment obligation in case of equipment is not found useful and the lessee opt for premature termination of the lease agreement. And here what happens is, please understand here, the limitations here is, say supposingly 10 years you have taken the contractual agreement, and you found that, being a lessee, you found that the business whatever you're doing in that particular location is not giving you more profit. Now you want to terminate it. When you want to terminate it, now what happens is it is very difficult. Even the lessor would have actually come to a contract with you. Now even he will miss out his business. So what happens is the charges will be more, and it will be very difficult for both the people here, for the lessee as well as for the lessor. So when you do a business, you need to always think positive, and then you are not supposed to go with a long term kind of a thing. A short term itself, say medium term, you can actually go with it, but also the boon and the bane, both are the same here. If you have taken for a smaller duration and your business really clicks like anything, and then if the owner says you are not supposed to do all this, now we need to terminate the contract, now even then what happens is there is a problem. That's why it is both boon as well as a bane. The lessee never becomes the owner. That is the one ultimate one. That is, if you take it for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years, a lessee will always be a lessee. He cannot be a lessor. That is the owner of the asset. It deprives him of the residual value of the asset. So whatever it is say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is, at one point of a time, he should analyze that, he should realize that he is not the real owner. He should leave that asset and he should go. That is what it is. So these are the things which I really want to explain you more, that is factoring and lease finance. Please go through the video once again. If you have understood this is really good. If not, I'm always there to help you out. Thank you so much, students. I'll see you when I see you.